Everyone, welcome back. Today we're looking at the Polestar 3 production starts. The Polestar 3 production has started, ladies and gents. Early test production successful in the USA. This has been recently released by Polestar, and I'm so thankful that this is finally picking up. This vehicle will not only be manufactured in China, there will also be manufacturing taking place in the Volvo factory in the US. Production of the Polestar 3 has started in Chengdu, China. Additional production is slated to start in South Carolina in the USA in the middle of 2024. The first early production test series in the American factory have been completely successful. Thomas Inglis, the Polestar CEO, says, and I quote, "This stunning car takes a significant step forward with the start of production, marking an important milestone on our journey from a one-car to a three-car company this year." It's important, that part. They're going to go from a one-car company to a three-car company this year. Next year, they will become a four-car company. And hopefully by 2027 or 2026 at the earliest, the production of the Polestar 6 Roadster will actually begin. Hopefully by then. We're looking at 2027, maybe 2026 at the earliest. So the CEO also says, "We have also achieved launch readiness at the factory in Ridgeville, South Carolina, and well on track with our plans to start manufacturing Polestar 3 in the United States. The Polestar 3 will be the first Polestar vehicle to be produced on two continents, supporting the company's growth ambition across North America, Europe, and Asia." Keeping in mind, ladies and gents, Polestar currently is in 27 different global markets across North America, Europe, and Asia Pacific. 27 different markets. That's a lot of markets. So in some retrospect, Polestar is well ahead of Rivian. They're a little bit ahead of NIO in terms of global. But obviously in the US, I think Rivian definitely has the advantage. It's an American brand, of course. Obviously in China, you're looking at NIO having the advantage because they're a Chinese company and they've built so much infrastructure in terms of swappable battery station, charging station, and they're building out this same infrastructure in the European continent. It's a different game for NIO. Now, I did get an email quite recently about the Polestar 3 test drive that we might be looking at getting test drives soon of that vehicle, which means I'll have to make an entire video about that vehicle on the channel. That's going to be quite exciting. And you know, I've been offered an opportunity to possibly test drive the Polestar 2, not for just one day, but like for 48 hours. But I'm hoping to get my hands on the Polestar 2 for 48 hours quite soon. As a channel to review this vehicle, to drive it as much as possible, to have an experience to charge these vehicles, it's going to be incredibly exciting, truly. And I might be able to get into other EV vehicles and get them to offer me a full test drive so I can do a proper review of that car for the channel. But I'm incredibly excited for this. So we do have some images of what this looks like in the Chengdu factory of the Polestar 3. It's a beautiful vehicle. I've known this vehicle would be beautiful since the moment I saw this vehicle. And you know what? I've been inside two of these vehicles at the Goodwood Festival last year. I've also been in a newer one of these vehicles, I think it was this year, in a Polestar Space in Bristol. That was really great. Took my girlfriend. She really liked the car as well. But I think the Polestar 4 will capture a lot of attention. It's quite different. You know, that landscape display is quite interesting. It's got like 12 or 13 cameras. I mean, if I'm going to get a car, I want as many cameras as possible because I'm tired of having my vehicles vandalized. Tired of it. It's not nice. So at least if there's a vandalism, perhaps Polestar has a technology on the Polestar 4 that can capture that video. But certainly seems that the kind of technology that the Polestar 3 is getting is quite a bit different from what the Polestar 4 will be getting. Looks like the Polestar 4, for one, is going to be the fastest production vehicle Polestar ever created. It already is. But two, it just seems a little bit more technologically advanced in terms of like cameras and securities. Now, I'm not saying it's a better vehicle because that would be silly because the Polestar 3 is based on the EX90 platform and those vehicles are built to be the best that the companies can offer. The EX90 is like the best that Volvo can offer you. The Polestar 3 is certainly like a combination of the best that Polestar can offer until the Polestar 5 comes out. That's going to be everything. I just wish that more Polestar vehicles would take up the landscape display format and please, more cameras. Just like the Polestar 4. Landscape display, 12 cameras for security reasons. And for various other reasons. What if it's also self-driving features? I like how this company is developing, and I can tell they're just going to continue improving. Look how much they've already improved the Polestar 2. In the new 2024 Polestar 2. I've seen them around, quite a few of them. They're incredible. And did I get to test drive? I don't think I have test drive one of those yet, but I can't wait to test drive one of those and get it on the channel. That's going to be incredible. Now, just before we end this video, here's a quick little article by Ruta. I found this on TradingView. Polestar is interested in raising more equity, CFO says. That's a chief financial officer. Polestar is interested in raising more equity, its chief financial officer Per Angar told an investor call on Thursday. Angar spoke a day after the firm said it had raised $950 million loan from a bank syndicate, helping to fill a gap left when Volvo Cars said earlier this month it would stop funding the electric car maker. I would like to have more equity in the company and would try to do some more equity raising to make sure we don't have the remainder need and to also strengthen our balance sheet, he said. Polestar lacks an additional $350 million to reach $1.3 billion in external funding. It has said it need to break even in 2025. Okay, there we go. That's very interesting. So Polestar still needs a little bit more funding to break cash flow even, but obviously they're on the path to that. The amount they've already gathered so far, that's what they've chosen to publish. But it looks like they definitely want to continue getting more funding to further support their business and to be successful by 2025. Geely Holding, which is one of the companies who founded Polestar and recently received a large stake after Volvo exit, said on Wednesday it intends to participate in future financial activities when it's required. So there we go. So if it's like the last opportunity, no one else is investing in Polestar, then Geely would consider that. Based on other information that I've been reading about this, it looks like they have over like 12 different banks invested in Polestar. That's been absolutely incredible, to say the least. Over 12 different banks. So when Volvo steps away and they give up a huge amount of shares and a huge amount of control, this is more appealing for external investors, because if I'm going to invest in your company, I want to know you don't have a monopoly over the company. And if the owner also owns the other company that owns a lot of the same company, it's a triangle. It's a Volkswagen and Porsche situation. It's very difficult to take over Porsche. It's very difficult to take over VW or Porsche because of how these companies are formed and set up. It's almost as if they don't want to be taken over, or they don't want too much control outside of the company. And it's risky in the sense that perhaps the people who own the company have too much control. So anyone investing outside of that company will have too little control. Investors don't always like that, unless you're Mark Zuckerberg, who can convince all your investors that it's in their best interest that Mark Zuckerberg holds the majority of voting shares. That's an interesting situation where Mark Zuckerberg can't legally be fired because he owns majority of the shares that are controlling the voting decisions in the company. Polestar is much more approachable as a company to invest in. That's it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe for watching. Leave a like, leave a comment, and of course, I'll see you in our next video. Peace.